Today we want to talk to you about soil sampling and some techniques that are used in a pasture situation. Typically in a pasture situation, especially in a pasture like we're in right now, a perennial pasture, there's no tillage, so we're not going to sample to the same depth that we would in a field crop situation where there's tillage that's taking place.
2 to 4 inches, probably a really good range, just to get that surface, especially if we want to check for pH.
Right.
You know, that's a real good depth to be at with that.
What happens if we go too deep on a sample?
Well, when we start getting, if we go too deep on a sample, the recommendation calculation is based on the depth of that sample. So if we go deeper, it can skew some of the results that you really may want to get.
Okay.
As far, especially, I mean, pH is that's such an important part of a soil test recommendation, because pH influences the availability of so many of the other nutrients. So if we're really targeting pH as one of the things we're really trying to get at with a soil test, keeping that at that 2 to 4 inches is ideal. If we go 6 to 8, you know, all of a sudden that recommendation is taking a bigger profile, so it could reduce actually the lime recommendations that you may have. I'm going to demonstrate a couple of the tools for taking soil samples in pastures. One is the probe and our plastic bucket. It's just a matter of taking the probe and going in. Again, we want to take that sample 2 to 4 inches, so I kind of have a good sense of what the depth is of this. So just example is pushing it in the ground. It would get my core. I can drop it in the bucket. The other thing about that you have to think about when you have samples, especially the residue on top, when you're going with a pasture, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can actually move the residue away before you put your probe in the ground, and then it comes up residue free. Pop it in, continue to the multiple spots. Again, you get that right depth. If we do get some of that organic material in, like I have here, one of the things we want to make sure we pick that out before we submit that sample. We demonstrated how to use the soil probe. We're taking a soil sample. Not all the time